video, we will take a closer look at two etudes by Leo Brouwer, study number 3 and study number 6. Brouwer's Estudios Sencillos, or simple studies, were created when he noticed that within the classical guitar repertoire, there were no truly beginner-friendly etudes. Even the ones labeled as easy were in many aspects still too difficult. So, in the 60s, he composed 5 simple studies designed so that any beginner could play them. Each study focuses on a specific technical challenge. They are very guitaristic and idiomatic, and they lie beautifully under the fingers, but in other ways they can be quite demanding, whether in rhythm, musical language, or structure. These studies became incredibly successful, and Brouwer was repeatedly asked to write more. And that led to the publication of the first set of 10 Estudios Sencillos in 1972, with additional studies added in later years. Today we will be working on studies number 3 and number 6. Both are designed to develop right hand speed. Study number 3 focuses on mini tremolo, while study number 6 centers on arpeggios. Let's start with study number 3. As I said before, they were always designed for a specific technique issue. So here we are dealing with speed in the right hand and the mini tremolo. That means always the fingering of PMI in the right hand. And because that's the focus of this study, the left hand doesn't have as much to do. So there are no crazy chords or crazy shifts or anything. It's all most of it is actually in first position. To get to know the study first, let's just play it on tempo 60 with the metronome and with each beat being a dotted quarter note, just to hear how it sounds if you haven't before. Focus first on the main focus of the study, and that is the right hand. So you've noticed that right now when I played, I was always doing the PMI fingering, but that's not the only one that you can practice. This exercise is actually really great for also studying PAM. I see this study as let's say an exercise before doing tremolo, right? So I first want to do, if I just want to start out with tremolo, this would be one of the etudes that I would use in order to develop the mini tremolo, and I would use PMI and also PAM, because AM is the alteration between these two fingers is the one that causes us most troubles when we're playing arpeggios or tremolo. Okay, so you can go through the whole exercise, the whole study, again playing PAM. Let's do just the beginning together. Now, what I also want you to do is to always prepare the first two fingers. That means the thumb and the M, or thumb and A if you're playing it with PAM. So what does that mean? They always fall together at the same time, and in that time the thumb plucks the third string, in this case at the beginning. So we have on open string that's the preparation then of those two fingers. With PAM, now in the beginning, you could actually already prepare the M finger, so the first finger of the first string, beforehand even. Okay, so we put the M finger on the first string and we pluck with the thumb. Or with PAM. That way your hand is really secure there. Now, as for actually developing the interpretation of this study, the musical interpretation and not just the technical, let's look first at the different voices we have. Let's play through the bass together. And try to do the dynamics written by Brouwer. Now that we've gotten acquainted with the bass line, you see that there's almost always the movement of the interval of the second. So we have the bass always, and then minor second, and a major second. So kind of always going in that pairs. There's that in the bass, and then we have this line. Now let's take a look at the melody. Now that that's clear, let's always play the intervals of the bass line and the melodic line together. So. Now this kind of practice allows you to actually hear these intervals together to see how some of them are dissonant and how consonant then the next one is. And then we have the perfect fifth. And then it's all consonant, right? This allows you to feel the intensity of each interval, of each harmony even more. Now for practicing this study, If you want to develop speed, I always recommend, and I use that a lot myself, dotted rhythms. Here, of course, we always have triplets. So the dotted rhythm is kind of different. So first we would have so we still do that dotted rhythm between two notes, but as part of a triplet. So the first would be da 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 da. Then the next variant would be to put the dotted note on the second note. Da 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 da. And to put the dotted note on the third note, that one is kind of tricky. Da da da, and the first note is actually the shortest. Da 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 da. And I always put an accent on the longest note, so on the dotted note, and therefore I always have accents on different notes. Now, Brouwer does write rapido as a tempo indication, so this etude should be pretty fast, but don't forget also to incorporate the dynamics in that speed too. Now, the next study that we're going to look at is study number 6. This one is a pretty popular one. It has some great harmonies in it, and we always have the same pattern of the arpeggio in the right hand. Again, in the left hand there are shifts, but nothing crazy, no crazy positions or anything. It's pretty easy for the left hand. Once again, let's first look at the technical side of it. So at the right hand, so what do we have? Let's do it on open strings. So there's always that descending arpeggio. We start with the thumb, A, M, I, then again A, M, I, B, A, M, I, B, B. Now here it's pretty important that we always hear this okay? And what I want you to do now, again with preparations, here because it's a descending arpeggio, we can't do a full planting, but we can practice with sequential planting, okay? That would look something like this. So I always prepare one finger after the other. That's one way of practicing it in the slow tempo. Now, when you play this in performance tempo, so to speak, you can aim for always putting the thumb and A finger together, okay? So preparing them together on their strings. That happens always at the beginning of the bar. Now, for the left hand and the chords, let's start with playing these chords. Now, as chords, let's abandon the arpeggios. Let's just hear the beauty of the harmonies. The first one. Then we change from the A finger to G, from the A note to G. Then we have a shift. Now this one, Brouwer does write 3-4-2, but for me, I think it would actually be more comfortable to do after this, to let my third finger lead me to the next position and do it 1, 2, 3. Here again. And then the second finger leads me to that. So there's a very nice chord. Preparing that suspended chord and the resolution. And then we're back to this high position. So just leave that arpeggio and thinking about speed and control and precision of the right hand first aside, and just enjoy these harmonies. It is Brouwer's language. It is modern, but it's not atonal. You know, you can still hear the tonality and kind of imagine that it's actually A major, everything with passing notes and stuff, but it still is very tonal music. Now let's play through the whole study again on tempo 60 with every beat being the quarter note. Performance tempo of this study, Brouwer does write at the beginning lo más rápido posible, which would mean the fastest possible tempo, right? But aim for a tempo where you can still enjoy the harmonies, show the harmonies, the beauty of them, and also where you will not lose this thing. This thing is very important in the bass, for us to always hear that 16th note and then the long bass note. If you want, you can go crazy with the tempo. I mean, but at some point it's just racing with yourself, and you need to be very careful to do very precise with the basis, and maybe it just takes some of the fun out of it, because there are still some, when you do the fingering, actually, as Brouwer wrote in the right hand, there are very nice rhythms to hear there with the thumb being played. And whatever. And also at the end, when he switches to 2/4 notes rhythm, I always there hear. So play in that comfortable tempo where you can still hear all that, showcase it, and also enjoy it. Thank you so much for sticking to the end, and let us know in the comments which of Brouwer's simple studies is your favorite, and do you find them that simple? See you in the next video.